Right now, something feels different, you can't fully explain it, but deep inside, you know change is coming. The old version of your life doesn't fit the same anymore. Certain people feel distant, old habits feel empty, things you once tolerated no longer feel right, and even though you may not know exactly what's next, you can feel that something is shifting. Jesus is saying, "My child, you are entering a new season." Not a temporary moment, not a small adjustment, but a real transition, a new chapter of your life, and with every new season, something must change, something must end, something must begin. Jesus says, "My child, you cannot carry your old life into the new season I prepared for you." That is why certain things are falling away, that is why some doors are closing, that is why some people are becoming distant, not because your life is falling apart, but because your life is realigning, because where you are going requires a different version of you, a stronger version, a wiser version, a more confident version. Jesus is saying, "My child, this season will change you." At first, change can feel uncomfortable, uncertain, even lonely sometimes, because growth often requires separation from old patterns, old thinking, old attachments, and that process can feel emotional, but listen carefully. You are not losing your life, you are outgrowing it. Jesus says, "My child, stop trying to hold on to what you have already outgrown. Because the new season ahead of you contains things your old season could never give you. New opportunities, new peace, new connections, new purpose, and most importantly, a new level of alignment." Right now, you may not see the full picture yet, but trust what you feel, trust the changes happening inside you, trust the doors that are opening, and the ones that are closing, because all of it is guiding you forward. Jesus is saying, "My child, do not fear this new season, it is the answer to many prayers." One day, you will look back and realize, this transition was necessary, this discomfort was preparing you, this ending was creating a beginning, and the person you are becoming will be grateful you kept moving forward. Jesus says, "My child, welcome the new season, it is time." If you feel a new season beginning in your life, type Amen and step into it with faith. Now, the changes inside you become more noticeable, not dramatic at first, but undeniable. Jesus is saying, "My child, before your life changes outwardly, it changes inwardly first." One of the first signs is this: you no longer feel connected to your old life the same way. Things that once excited you now feel empty. Conversations feel different, places feel different, even your mindset feels different, because you are evolving. Jesus says, "My child, growth will make old environments feel uncomfortable." Another sign: you begin craving peace more than attention, you stop chasing drama, you stop needing validation from everyone, you become more protective of your energy, and slowly, your priorities begin to change. Jesus is saying, "My child, I am teaching you what truly matters." Another sign: certain people naturally drift away. Without arguments, without major conflict, the connection simply weakens, and even though part of you feels sad, another part of you feels relieved, because deep inside, you know not everyone can go where you are going. Jesus says, "My child, every new season requires new alignment." You may also notice this: you feel more emotional than usual, more reflective, more aware of your life, because transition periods often feel heavy before they feel exciting. Old emotions rise to the surface, old wounds become visible, not to hurt you, but to heal you completely before the next chapter begins. Jesus is saying, "My child, I am clearing what no longer belongs in your spirit." And while this process may feel uncomfortable, it is also sacred, because you are becoming someone new, stronger, wiser, more aligned with your purpose. Soon, the external changes will match the internal transformation already happening inside you, and when that moment comes, you will realize, this new season started long before you could see it. Jesus says, "My child, trust these changes, they are leading you into something greater." If you feel yourself changing and growing into a new season, type Amen and trust the transformation. Now, you begin to notice something difficult. Not everything is staying. Some people are leaving. Some plans are falling apart. Some things you once depended on are no longer stable, and part of you wonders, why is everything changing at once? But listen carefully, Jesus is saying, "My child, before I elevate you, I remove what cannot go with you." Because not everything in your current life belongs in your next season. Some connections were distractions, some habits were limiting you, some environments were draining your spirit, and if they remained, they would slow your growth. Jesus says, "My child, what I remove is just as important as what I bring." At first, loss feels painful, endings feel confusing, separation feels personal, but many times, what feels like rejection is actually protection. What feels like loss is actually redirection. Jesus is saying, "My child, I cannot fill hands that refuse to release what is no longer right." Because breakthrough requires space. Growth requires change, transformation requires release, and right now, I am creating that space in your life. You may also notice this: certain habits no longer satisfy you, certain mindsets no longer feel healthy, certain patterns become impossible to ignore. Because I am awakening you, I am showing you what must change before the next chapter begins. Jesus says, "My child, do not fight the pruning process." A tree must be pruned to grow stronger, and sometimes, your life must be cleared before it can fully bloom. So don't panic when things fall away, don't cling to what is already ending, don't chase what God is removing, because every removal has purpose. Every ending is making room, every change is preparing you for something greater. Jesus is saying, "My child, trust what is leaving, I am making space for what is coming." And what is coming will align with your peace, your growth, your purpose, your future. If you trust that God is removing what no longer belongs in your life, type Amen and let go with faith. Now, after all the confusion, after all the endings, after all the emotional changes, something finally begins to make sense. The fog starts lifting, the uncertainty begins fading, and slowly, you begin to see where your life is going. Jesus is saying, "My child, what once felt unclear will soon become obvious." At first, the changes were happening inside you, quietly, deeply, but now, the external world begins to reflect the transformation already happening within you. New opportunities begin appearing, new connections begin forming, new ideas begin growing inside you, and suddenly, what once felt empty, now feels full of possibility. Jesus says, "My child, this is why I asked you to trust me. Because now you can finally see, nothing was random, nothing was wasted. Every delay, every ending, every painful lesson, was guiding you toward this moment, toward this new direction, toward this new version of your life." Jesus is saying, "My child, your new season is no longer approaching, it has begun. And with this new season, comes a new mindset, a new level of confidence, a new sense of peace. You are no longer begging life to change, you are becoming the person, ready for the change, and because of that, everything begins aligning differently. You stop forcing things, you stop chasing what is leaving, you stop doubting every step, because now, you feel guided, grounded, aligned. Jesus says, "My child, what is meant for you will now begin finding you naturally." This is the season where clarity replaces confusion, peace replaces chaos, confidence replaces fear, and the more you trust this process, the more beautiful this new season becomes. So stop looking backward now, stop mourning what ended, stop questioning whether change was necessary, because your future is finally opening in front of you. Jesus is saying, my child, walk boldly into this new chapter. If you feel your new season becoming clear, type Amen and move forward with faith.